What are criticisms of the prisoner's dilemma? Have you ever wondered why people sometimes choose not to cooperate, even when it seems like a better option? The prisoner's dilemma is a popular model in game theory that illustrates this very issue. However, it has its share of criticisms, especially when viewed through the lens of libertarianism and cooperation. Let's break down some of these critiques. One major criticism is that the prisoner's dilemma often assumes a one-time interaction. In reality, people frequently engage in repeated interactions. This means they can build trust over time, which can lead to cooperation. Libertarians value voluntary agreements, and this model overlooks how relationships can evolve to encourage collaboration. Another point of contention is the lack of communication in the dilemma. The model assumes that individuals cannot talk or make binding agreements before making decisions. Libertarians argue that voluntary contracts are essential for social order. They believe that individuals can negotiate and create enforceable agreements without any coercion. The dilemma also presents a conflict between individual rationality and collective benefit. It suggests that acting in self-interest leads to worse outcomes for everyone. However, libertarians argue that when self-interest operates within a framework of property rights and voluntary exchanges, it can actually lead to cooperation and social harmony. Moreover, the model tends to emphasize mutual defection as the only outcome. Critics argue that this perspective may exaggerate the inevitability of conflict. In practice, people often find ways to align their interests and form partnerships that help them overcome the dilemma. This reflects the libertarian belief in decentralized cooperation and spontaneous order. Lastly, some libertarians see the prisoner's dilemma as a tool to justify state intervention. They argue that using the dilemma to support collective coercion undermines individual rights. Instead, they advocate for market-based solutions and private agreements to tackle cooperation challenges effectively. In practical terms, libertarians suggest mechanisms like private contracts, reputation systems, and decentralized institutions to resolve cooperation issues without relying on state authority. These approaches align with their principles of individual liberty and voluntary association. Understanding these criticisms helps us see the broader implications of the prisoner's dilemma in real-world scenarios.